how do you find physics? Let me ask you one question. How do you find physics? It is easy, difficult, or moderate?
Quite boring.
Okay, lots of students are feeling like this because of they are not understanding the whole concept of physics.
So before we start, there are two things I would bring to your notice. First is try to attempt all the answers. And second is be loyal with your answers. Right?
Yes.
Okay. So let's start. Could you please introduce yourself to me?
Thank you, ma'am, for giving me a chance to introduce myself. My name is AJIT CHAUDHARY. I'm from Pune, Maharashtra. I had completed my post-graduation in 2019. After that, I had worked with the college and also various coaching institute as a physics lecturer. Last year, I joined Byjus as an academic counselor. And right now, I'm working with a private institute. Apart from this, I love to play cricket. I love to traveling. And I like to interact with people. That's all for me. Thank you, ma'am.
You worked at Byjus?
Yeah, I had
Earlier?
worked at Byjus. Yes, yes.
Okay. So why did you switch your job? What made you leave
Actually, that
Byjus?
was, yeah, actually, work culture was good, but that was a counseling job. Okay, I had done my master's in physics. I had done my all career in teaching field. So I just applied for that role and I got selected. And occasionally I converted as a BDA after training. But at the time of my job, I
Job role
realized
at, yeah, see, the job role was of BDA only. That's business
yes,
development associate, right? So you had to do
yeah,
cold calling and all. Fine. So weren't you aware about the role and responsibilities earlier?
yeah, I know the role and responsibilities, ma'am. But I feel ki it is a tech company, and I have to a chance with. I have means I had a chance to work with this company, and there are parent and there are meetings with parent. Okay, I am a teacher, and I obviously attend meetings with parent. I thought ki yes, I can do it, and I go for it. But while doing my demos and all that session, I realized ki I'm good at my teaching skill. I'm not good at sales. That's why I switched the job. And at that time, I didn't get opportunity to join as a teacher. That's why I joined as a VDA.
See, what if we hire you? What is the probability that you will be stuck? You will stuck with this job. You not change the job. Since see,
Because
you left
yes,
job. I think
yes,
it's
yes,
more than 3 months, right? Because if you have left job at Byjus, it takes 3 months for you. Before 3 months, you
yeah,
cannot
it takes 3
reapply.
months. Yes,
Fine. Okay, we'll come back
yes,
to that
yes.
later on. First, let me conduct an interview. So, okay. So, tell me something about Byjus. Who is the owner and co-founder of Byjus?
Byju's owner is Sir Ravindran Byju's, and co-founder is his wife, sorry, Divya Gokulath.
Okay. And what do you know about Byjus company?
I actually didn't get your question, ma'am.
What
Can
do
you
you know
repeat,
about
please?
Byjus? What is
Okay.
Byjus all about?
Byju's, yeah, it is a largest tech company. There are various segments like K3, K10, K12. And also Byju's is right now preparing for government exams also like IES. It is an education platform, online education platform.
Okay. And in which year Byjus was established?
Byju's was established in 2011, and after that, Byju's launched Byju's application in 2015, I think. Yeah.
See, if you're not confident regarding anything, don't say that. Fine.
Okay, ma'am.
Just speak to the point. Fine, because
Okay, okay,
don't make any excuse so that HR gets an opportunity to cross question you. Right? You have to be
okay,
straightforward.
okay.
Fine. Again, we'll come
Okay,
back in
Byju's,
detail.
yeah.
2011,
Byju's was
Byjus.
established in 2011.
Open and shut answers, right? Okay.
Yes.
Can you tell me latest news about Byjus company?
Right now, Byju's is acquiring various institutes like uh, actually Byju's is acquiring all like White Hat Junior. It is a actually this is greatest achievement of Byju's.
Apart from White Hat Junior, one of the very renowned institute Byjus has acquired. Can you name that institute?
Akash Institute.
Yes. And Byjus, the latest news, Byjus had also been sponsoring FIFA World Cup.
Yeah, Byju's had sponsored for FIFA World Cup also.
Yeah, so yeah, you can note down certain points if you think it's
Yes,
relevant.
yes, okay.
Right?
Okay,
Now, why did you choose this occupation Byjus, academic specialist? Will you tell me the job role of academic specialist?
Yeah, it is a one kind of teaching job role, but Byjus is actually providing the various facilities to student. Like for teachers also, teachers are explaining the concept in the 3D model. Okay, and academic specialists, their job role is not only teaching, but it is also teaching like not the great student or good student who are having good academic background, not only for that student, but for the average students and below average student, we have to teach them. Yeah.
Okay. And why Byju's? Why not some other platform?
As I already work with Byjus, I know the work culture of Byjus, and Byjus is actually a uh, growing tech industry. Okay, and there is a adaptive learning in Byjus. There are some features of Byjus having like 3D animation, adaptive learning, and other features. These features are not available in other application or other institute. That's why I choose Byjus.
Okay. And apart from 3D animation, adaptive learning, could you explain me some of the other features as well?
Yeah, there is a parent connect application, parent connect also there, and also we get a weekly report, monthly reports on the application. Yeah.
It also has app lock features. Fine.
Yeah,
And
app
15
lock
days
feature is
return
there.
policy.
Yeah, 15 days return policy
So,
also.
so just in case if the child gets deviated, so there is a chance to log the app as well. Fine.
Yes.
So this will pay more, by this the child will pay more attention to what the teacher is teaching. And why only physics? Since you're from
Because I
science
like
background.
physics. Yes. Because I choose physics as a career because physics is in daily life, in nature, right? I am talking to you. There is a physics. I'm observing all the things surrounding me. There is also physics. I like this thing. That's why I choose physics.
Okay, fine. Now, could you please explain me any topic in physics for 5 to 7 minutes?
Yes, I can.
Yeah.
So I'm going to explain it as you as a student. Okay. Okay. Good morning, students. How are you all doing today?
Great, sir.
That's great. Okay. And how do you find physics? Let me ask you one question. How do you find physics? It is easy, difficult, or moderate?
Quite boring.
Okay, lots of students are feeling like this because of they are not understanding the whole concept of physics. But I assure you that after this lecture, you definitely like physics. So today, students, we are going to discuss about very interesting topic in physics, that is the gravitation. When I say gravitation, what is in your mind? Have you ever read about the Newton? Sir
Yes.
Isaac Newton? Yeah, he was a great scientist. Okay, in physics, he and Einstein, these two scientists, whole miss half of the physics based on these two scientists. So let me tell you one story, students. Sir Isaac Newton take off from his schooling and he was in his home. And after that, he goes in a park. And in that park, he is just sitting under a tree. While sitting under a tree, the apple suddenly falls on his head. Okay. The apple suddenly falls on his head. And then he started thinking like why this apple is falling on his head. Why it is not going upward direction. Can I use my board, ma'am?
Yes, yeah, sure. Please do that. That would be more
Thank you.
interesting. Yes.
Thank you. So I'm just telling one story of Sir Isaac Newton that suppose this is the apple and this apple is falling on his head. Okay. And he suddenly start thinking why this apple is not going in an upward direction. Then there is a question in his mind that why the moon is not falling on earth like apple is falling on his head. Why this moon is not falling on his head. So you will get an answer of this question, why moon is not falling on our earth after this lecture. So let's start, student. Today, the gravitation. Today we shall learn the gravitation and the universal law of gravitation. So gravitation is one type of force. There are four fundamental forces available in this nature. So gravitation is one of them. And Newton started thinking, he just started thinking and researching that like what is this and why it is happening. So he comes on a conclusion that the universal law of gravitation. Universal law, what it tells us, the force means this gravitational force is equal to this G is the gravitational constant m1 m2 divided by r square. It is a formula, okay? It is a formula. But what is the physical significance of this formula? The physical significance is that I'm going to explain this physical significance by using one example. Suppose I'm having these two balls in my hand, okay? These two balls, assume that these two are object, and these two objects having a force of
See, the camera is
gravitation.
a lateral inversion.
Yeah, I think it is not visible. It is not visible to you.
Yeah, it is visible, but in backward direction.
Okay, sorry, ma'am. I just changed it.
Yeah.
Right now
Great.
it is okay.
Yeah, it's absolutely fine.
Okay, sorry. Right now it is okay. So
yeah,
these are two objects. I'm having these two objects, and these two objects is having a force in between them. This is the gravitational force. It is invisible force. Gravitation force. Two things we have to notice about the gravitation force. It is attractive force. And second thing is that it is invisible force. Are you able to see the force in between these two objects, students? No. That's why it is invisible. And how it is attractive? Newton gives a concept that every two objects having a mass always attract each other. Newton gives two concepts. First is, this force is depend on the mass. Force is directly proportional to the product of the masses. And second, it is inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. So these two objects, any two objects, not only these two objects, consider any object, right? I'm having this tube and this board also. There is a gravitation force. But have you ever wondered that why these two objects are not going to attract each other? I'm saying that every two objects attracting each other. But it is not going to attract. Why it is happening? Because there is a relation between this gravitation force and the mass. This universal law of gravitation tells us that the force is directly proportional to the product of the masses. Whenever we are going to study the smaller objects like these two objects having very small mass. If you calculate the force in between these two objects, it is very small, very, very, very small. But whenever we are going to consider the Earth, Moon, or any celestial bodies like Sun, then this force is having a huge value. That's why Moon is always rotating around the Earth and Earth is rotating around the Sun. And right now we are sitting on this Earth and we are observing gravitational force. Like I'm throwing this ball upward direction. After achieving certain height, it always goes to the downward direction. That's because Earth is applying some force on this ball. One body is Earth and second body is this ball. Okay, so this is called as the universal law of gravitation. The Newton gives us this law. And after that, the question arises that why Moon is not falling on our Earth. You know the concept of centripetal force?
No, sir.
Okay. So centripetal force is one kind of force which is always directed towards the center. Suppose I am having this diagram, I'm drawing this diagram. And suppose it is a trajectory. This is our Earth. And this is an orbit of Moon. And Moon is rotating around the Earth like this. And in between Moon and Earth, there is always, we can say, a gravitational force. And there is a centripetal force. What centripetal force tells us? It always works in a circular path. When object changes its position, it always changes its direction. Like Moon is here, Moon is comes here, and then this direction always changes. At every point, Moon is changing its direction. And this is always towards the center. This is always towards the center. This is a centripetal force. But what if Earth is not applying this universal law, or Earth is not applying this gravitational force? Then Moon will goes like this. When Moon is rotating, suppose Moon is here and Moon is going like this, okay, like this in straight line. If there is no gravitational force in between Earth and Moon, so it is going like this. The Moon will create a tangent like this to the Earth orbit, this orbit. And that's why moon is rotating around Earth and not falling on our Earth or our head, we can say. This is today's concept, student. If you have any question, you can ask.
Fine. Please have a seat, Ajit.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks. Ajit, do you have any teaching experience as well?
Yeah, I had.
You have? How many years or months?
I had 3 years of teaching experience, ma'am.
And after that, you joined Byjus, right? For the role of BD.
Yeah, after my teaching career, I joined Byjus for 4 months as a role of BD, and after that, I'm right now working in a private institute and work as a teacher.
Again, one more question will arise because considering your resume, there is loads of chance for the HR to cross question you. Fine.
Okay.
Now, having 3 years of experience, and why did you join Byjus for the position of BDA? Did you misinterpret the job role?
No, I know the job role, but Byjus is actually a growing company, Byjus was actually a growing company, and I'm not having good salary at that time in my teaching job. And I feel it is a tech company and I have to apply it. And I just applied and I got selected. After that, I switched because of there is a good salary. But after doing my job, I realized it is not about the salary, it is about my passion.
Because you're not consistent with your job role, they might cross question you a lot. So after you join Byjus and if you're not satisfied with the salary, what are the chances that you will not rejoin some other company or some other institution?
Okay, ma'am, I have to tell you one thing that I leave Byjus. I quit Byjus. I had a good salary as a BDA, okay, but I'm not following my passion. I was working as a teacher. I was working as a counselor, but I follow my passion at that time. Right now, I'm applying for a teaching role, and I'm doing my
No,
good
that's
in. I'm doing my
that's
best in
absolutely
teaching.
fine. But what if you get more salary from Byjus? It's some other institution or some other school. So what are the chances you'll not leave Byjus and join that company?
Okay, actually, I had applied Byjus for a teaching role, but I didn't get selected last year. Okay, I was searching a teaching role, but I applied for BD and I got selected. After that, I switched this because I'm working as a teacher. Teaching is my passion. But Byjus is a growing company. I'm not working any online institute right now. I'm not working in any online institute. It is a very good platform to me to showcase my skills of teaching, and I have to learn some teaching skills from Byju's like 3D adaptation model and how can we utilize these skills uh, to visualize this concept to students. And like this, there is no any other platform which providing such a facility. That's why I choose Byju's and I will continue with this Byju's.
Okay, so now I'll ask you certain questions regarding physics. Okay, could you please explain me the law of reflection?
Law of reflection. Okay, the reflected light always in a same medium, and the angle of incidence and angle of reflection is always equal. These two are the laws of reflections.
And what is the characteristics of light? What are the characteristics?
Light always travel in a straight line. This is the one most very important characteristic of light. Light is having electromagnetic EM wave, we can say. Light is also changing its speed while traveling in between two mediums.
Okay,
These are
can you
three
explain me
characteristics of light.
Fermat's principle?
Which principle?
Fermat's principle. Fermat's.
Fermat's principle. Sorry, ma'am, I'm not able to recognize this principle.
Yeah, note it down. Anything, right? So it's light always takes the quickest path between any 2 points.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
It is always virtual and erect. Yeah.
And characteristics of images?
Characteristics of images means what kind of characteristics? I'm not getting the question actually.
See, images can be real or virtual.
Virtual.
Yeah. Explain me the principle of reversibility of light.
Reversibility. I think it is reversibility means whenever light approaches to the any opaque medium, it will always reflect back.
See, just in case if you do not know any answer, no, so it is absolutely fine. Okay.
Okay,
They basically the HR is just checking your confidence level and your teaching skills. Fine.
okay, okay,
How are you teaching? So if it just in case you do not know any answer, that's quite common. You can tell, ma'am, right now I'm not aware of this answer, but once I'm selected, I'll make sure I have thorough knowledge of the content. So that's
okay,
absolutely
ma'am.
fine. Please fair.
Yes,
Okay.
okay, okay.
Yeah. And notice the law of refraction.
Law of refraction. It is whenever light changes its medium, it always change in there is a certain change in its path. While it is going to away from normal, or it goes towards the normal.
Okay, fine. Let me ask more questions. Could you tell me the difference between speed and velocity?
Velocity, we can say velocity is displacement divided by time. There is always a displacement. There is difference in between distance and time. Distance is actually we are following in certain path, and velocity is always difference means displacement. Whenever we are going from one position to another position, after we come back to the certain position, there is no displacement. And when we are going to, there is a distance, and this distance divided by time is speed, and the displacement divided by time is velocity.
Okay. Just in case if they ask you, so it would be better if you write it on the board and then explain.
Okay,
Fine.
okay.
Not right
Okay,
now,
I
but
can.
that will be much easier for the HR to understand as well.
Yes, yes, yes.
Fine.
Yes, definitely.
Now, what does the odometer of an automobile measure?
It measures the speed of vehicle.
Okay. Now, let me ask you normal questions. Why should we hire you? The reason?
The reason is I'm having the teaching skills. I know the teaching field. I am having experience in teaching field. I'm also having a teaching knowledge, physics knowledge also, that which is helpful for students. And Byjus is actually it is a very good platform where I can showcase my skills.
Great. See, you are from technical background. Fine. So
Yeah.
why do you want to apply in teaching job? There is an opening in the technical backgrounds. Are you willing to join that position?
No, I'm not from a technical background. Ma'am. I had completed my master's in physics, so I always go for a teaching role. And right now, I'm not interested in any other role rather than teaching.
So if you are rejected today, so what are your backup plans? Do you have any backup plans?
If I get rejected, first of all, I will find what are the reasons that I'm get rejected in this role. What are the mistakes I did, what mistakes I did, and I will work on it. And again, I will apply after some three months. There is a policy for Byjus that we can apply after 3 months. I will
So for
search
3
for.
months, you will sit vacant. You will not apply for
No,
any other position.
No, I'm not going to apply any other position because I literally think, and I feel very good as I work with Byjus, and I'm doing my studies of physics and will continue with Byjus after 3 months.
Sarit, what you have to do is you have to show your eagerness because you have the required, as you said, because this is how the HR plays with the game. As you said that you have the required skills, right? You are in need of a platform where you'll get an opportunity to showcase your skills. That means you already
Yes.
have the skills. Fine. If you're not selected in Byjus, you'll obviously that's absolutely fine. It plays fair. You'll apply for the other position at some other institution as well. See,
Okay,
it's
ma'am.
not
Because
don't sit, don't stuck
you
to
had tell
Byjus.
me that that's why you tell me that I'm always switching my job. So I'm feel like that
They
I'm not
are
going to
going to
do
do,
this.
they are going to play with you in this sense, right? They will cross
Okay,
question
okay, okay.
at the end
Okay,
of the
I will
day.
say them. I will search another platform, and while searching this platform, I will again, if I didn't get selected in any other institute, I will again apply for a Byjus after 3
See,
months.
because this is something, see, very practical. For 3 months, you'll not sit weekend, right? Obviously.
Yeah,
This is the
yes.
truth that you will apply it, and just you have to tell the
Yeah.
HR confidently. You have to tell the HR because see your interview is going fairly well. So at the end of the day,
Okay.
end of the interview, don't do any mistake. If they'll ask you this type of question, they might cross question you. So, ma'am, keeping in considering my skills and my talent, if once I'm rejected, I'll make sure that I know the reasons I'll keep in mind the reason and apply some other institution as well. Because I have the skills, sitting idle for 3 months, I don't think it's quite beneficial for me. So I will apply. So that is showing your confidence level also and truth also. And by keeping, as you have shown your demo session, so the HR has in mind that it's going fairly well. So at the same point of time, the HR feels we don't want to lose this candidate because this candidate has talent, has skills, and once we don't want to lose such candidate. If the candidate is not hired, he will apply to some other position. That will add a plus point. Don't say, ma'am, no, I will wait for this chance, because the HR knows this is not going to happen as it is. Right?
Yes, yes. I was talking, Miss. I was thinking to talk like this, but you know, you had tell me that you are always switching your job. That's why I give this answer.
They are going to cross question you like this.
Okay, ma'am. Definitely, I will.
Just a mock interview, but I assure you that your final interview will be just like this. Right? They are going to cross question you, because once Byjus, and second criteria of Byjus is they, you know, until as the person is highly talented, they don't consider the reapplication. Once the be it any position, once the candidate has left the position, they, you know, they have a negative impact on mine. And but your confidence level is quite high, so that will neutralize the negative impact. You're understanding? They just want two things: convincing and confidence. Right? So you have the talent, you have the required skills as well. So if they ask you why should we hire you, be really short and precise. Say, ma'am, I have the talent, I have the required skills. I'm only in need of the platform that I'll get an opportunity to showcase my skill. Second, they'll ask you, why did you switch your job? Say, ma'am, no one is born perfect. Right? You can quote any phrase. No one is born perfect. So everybody needs, I have the age and everybody needs career go. And at one go, no one understands the concept. Suppose, for example, if I'll teach a concept to any child, so all the child will be different level. Some will be below average, some will be above average. So all the children, they do not like same frequency, but gaining experience, once they gain experience, they get knowledge of the content. The same thing implies with me as well. By switching my job, having experience, I know the correct path. That I'm good at my teaching skills. Right now also I'm teaching at some institution. I know I have good communication skills. I have good convincing skills. That is the reason why I want to rejoin again at Byjus for the position of academic specialist. So it goes really fair if you speak like this, right? Because the HR knows that, whatever the individual is speaking, before the HR asks you certain question, you tell from your mouth. So, ma'am, I have been switching jobs, but now I know the reason, because no one is born perfect. So once you speak this, the HR has no point to cross question. Because the parameters on which the HR was going to cross question you have already cleared that. Right? This is how you have to play with the mind of the HR. Because I'll tell you from beforehand what are the cross questions the HR is going to ask you. Your interview is going fairly well. Everything is well. Confidence level is absolutely fine. Communication skill is good. Right? But only have to work on the parameters, the HR will cross question you. What you have, the thing which you have done wrong is, do not speak so much about Byjus. That, man, it is showing a dedication towards Byjus. That apart from Byjus, I want nothing. Right? You have to be fair in that context. Fine.
Yes.
And if you think any important points, whatever I'm speaking, you can write that points as well.
Actually, I'm getting this recording also. So I will write after this recording. Because I had given a interview for BDA for Vikas' channel, and I got selected as a BDA. I'm having that interview also on this channel, and right now I'm giving interview for academic specialist. Last year I gave this interview.
That's nice. That's great. I know there is no chance that you will be rejected. You will be selected, but just keep in mind the cross questions. Having a resume, they might cross question. Fine.